You want to see sharing screen?
No need. No.
You want the screen to also
No,
be
no, no. There is no screen.
Okay.
Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki. Today is a very auspicious day. Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance, and of course in Mayapur we have a big celebration. It's ending now, maybe ended already. Singhachalam they are also doing, I think, because they have also Nrsimha deity. 3 days festival they do, huh? That's good. So on this auspicious day of appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev, we are here to meditate upon the instructions given to us by Srila Rupa Goswami in the matter of executing our sadhana bhakti. So those who are sadhakas in Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Rupa Goswami has given the principles of devotional service, which, if accepted, can foster a devotional life. So in the first verse, we discussed about 6 types of urges, which is very prominent for a conditioned soul to be swallowed by. And then he says that anyone who wants to progress in Krishna consciousness must control these 6 urges. These are not necessarily the practices of bhakti, but if we take to these practices, then it can open the door to bhakti. It can help us to get an entry into the execution of devotional service. Therefore, every sadhaka must diligently practice the control of the 6 different urges that are mentioned in the first verse of Bodhisamrita. Then in this second verse, he was speaking about 6 kinds of faults that are contrary to devotional service. So having said, what is that? What are the 6 types of faults? Atyahara, prayasascha, prajalpa, niyama, jana sangascha, laulyancha. So laulya means being restless. Means when you come across the statement from Shastra regarding Karma Kanda or Jnana Kanda or even in yoga, mystic perfections, sometimes upon hearing the devotional service also we take to it, but not actually steady in bhakti. Keep on changing the conclusions. Sometimes going to jnana, sometimes karma, sometimes yoga. That kind of unsteadiness also shows the defined by our Acharya as laulyam. So in that way, that is not conducive for devotional service. Then in text number 3, he is speaking about the 6 principles that are favorable for the pure devotional service. What are those? This is also one of your memorization verses, text number 3 and also text number 4. Now we'll discuss text number 3 and 4 in this lesson today. So text number 3, Utsahan nischayat dhariyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vrittihi sarvir bhaktihi prasidhyati. Sarvir bhakti prasidhyati. Sat means 6. When the above mentioned 6 principles are executed, then the pure devotional service is guaranteed to the sadhaka. What are those? Utsaha. Utsaha means being enthusiastic. When we say being enthusiastic, if you stop there, sometimes it creates a little confusion. Being enthusiastic of what? Right? Somebody may be enthusiastic to perform some business act. Somebody may be enthusiastic to go to watch a movie. Or somebody may be enthusiastic to come to the temple. So what kind of enthusiasm is being referred to here? So when you say being enthusiastic, enthusiasm in the matter of executing sadhana bhakti. And our sadhana bhakti have been defined by Srila Rupa Goswami. We don't have to find a new definition for sadhana. Even though there are different sadhana practices. For example, those who practice yoga, Patanjali also describes about their regulations, their sadhana practices. But those sadhana practices are different from our sadhana practices. Our sadhana practice means Navada Bhakti. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu, Bhaktinche, Navalakshana. So these are the 9 symptoms of devotional service, angas of devotional service, has to be undertaken by every sadhaka. So therefore, when we say being enthusiastic, means he is being enthusiastic to follow the angas of bhakti. Okay, then endeavoring with confidence, nischayat. Sometimes when we undertake some process, I mean to say, first principle is with enthusiasm, one must undertake the practice of devotional principles. For example, we are asked to hear Srimad Bhagavatam on regular basis. And then what is the result? The result is it will bring you to attain Krishna Prema, love of Godhead. So one may think, well, so many years I have been doing, or so many people have been practicing this hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. How many people have actually got there? It raises a doubt, raises a question in mind. Then a devotee who is enthusiastically performing this principle of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis, even though there is a delay in his attainment, he is not going to give up. That is the meaning of endeavoring with confidence. Okay, then you can ask the question, Prabhu. So we see in our regular life, there are many people who have been listening, but how many of them have attained love of Godhead? Right? Jimmy? So then how to endeavor with confidence in the matter of hearing Bhagavatam on a regular basis?
Having confidence. And we continue doing it.
what is your kind of, what is the branch you want to hold on to, so that you want to ensure that, yes, your enthusiasm, your confidence is not lost. As I said, it is quite obvious to lose the confidence, right? I am in a moment for 30 years. She is in the moment for 50 years. That person is there for 40 years. But I don't see, right? So what I should be kind of, holding on to ensure that I am in full confidence going to continue hearing Bhagavatam for the rest of my life.
Conviction in bhakti by giving up the lowly, by giving up.
How can I gain that conviction? Yeah.
By associating with people who are convinced.
Okay. By associating with people who are convinced, that is one way. Yes. Okay.
Confidence in the process. This process will surely take me.
How do you ensure that? This process have been followed by so many people, they have not attended yet. 1 minute. Conviction is something has to be gained by taking shelter of something. Yes, of course, Guru. Yeah, Krishna. What you are saying is correct, actually. See, in this connection, okay, before I say, I want to hear, yes, you want to say something. Huh? Okay. Yes.
And another thing, Prabhupada, not only hearing, we have to engage.
Okay.
With confidence and,
Okay. Okay. Yes, Glaikari Mataji.
Faith.
Faith.
Some kind of faith.
On what? On what? Faith on what?
Faith
My faith is now in challenge. My faith is being challenged when I see there are so many devotees practicing or hearing Bhagavatam for so many years, 20, 30 years, look like they have not attained. So now this is a kind of challenging situation for me. So what is that faith you want to hold on to keep up with your confidence that, yes, I will do it? Yeah, he says like, Avasya Rakhive Krishna, he's saying associate with those who have got faith through the instructions of Guru. Tulsi Babu? Take shelter of Shastra. I was thinking, who has written this book? So Rupa Goswami is not a very ordinary person that, coming from the street and writing something, right? He has compiled this small nectar of devotion under the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. And when he's saying, why should I doubt? He is the highest authority for us. And also we have seen devotees like our Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, they have attained love of Godhead through this process. Prahlad Maharaj, he says, Narad Muni, who is the Acharya, Bhakti Acharya, he also confirms this in Narad Pancharatra. So there are so many evidences which we can see from Shastra and also in the life of our previous Acharyas. Contemporarily speaking, even if I'm not able to see it is prominent in our society, it doesn't mean that it did not exist or it does not exist. No, it is there. The point is how sincerely I am practicing, I have undertaken it. Then that will give. So my hope is, Srila Rupa Goswami, who is Rupa Manjari, he is under the direct instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given this understanding. So, and they have attained to this platform. Therefore, I must continue with confidence. And as you said, we also have to associate with those who have that kind of conviction, that kind of faith. Yes.
Like also the ego gets in there, thinking that I've done the process the way it should be, thinking this way. So they may not reevaluate thinking, oh, I'm not doing something right, and actually looking, these are the steps that I need to do,
Yeah.
They're thinking, I am doing these things, because there's an illusion that they actually are, I mean, Krishna gets such a reveal that for them. So, but sometimes that encumbers them in order to see what they steps,
Okay.
and not find that, that I should be, following these steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? No.
I was thinking about like this process, if we see our own lives, some different than the attachment in the material world, the way we were like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That should give us some feeling that the process works.
Yes. 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 That also kind of, you can take it from your own personal experience. But many times as a new sadhaka, we don't have that kind of experience. I mean, it's a good if you have the experience, that's an evidence for you what I was when I joined in the first place, where I was. And after so many years, where I am today. If I see my personal life, there's a transformation I can see very clearly happening in my personal life. There's also a kind of, yardstick we can use. And especially those who are not able to even see that, then we should look into the life of the previous acharyas. They have attained this, therefore this path is secured and I should be continuing. So in that way, endeavoring with confidence, then being patient. Even if it is being delayed, never mind. You start a business today in the material world, how long it takes to come to a point when your expectations are met? According to your expectation, you are thinking per month, I want to earn at least $2,000 profit. To get there, you have to give some time, good amount of time, right? Even in material world, to get some material success, you need to allow the time to take its own course. Similarly, in Krishna conscious practice also, if you don't give time to your practice, then you will become impatient. Therefore, you have to agree to spend good amount of time with patience, acting according to regulative principles, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Okay? Tat karma pravartanat. Here, tat karma refers to this Navadhavati. Then, abandoning the association of non-devotees. Sangat Tyagat. Here, non-devotee means, Srila Prabhupada also writes, we'll read it. Those who associate with women, we should give up their association. See, associating with people who are attached to women is more dangerous than association of the woman. Yes, it has been said like that. Why? Because a man who is attached to women, he will speak more about that than somebody who is directly in association with women. He's just one person. Anyway, our acharyas, they have explained like that. There's three sangi is more dangerous. Therefore, that also coming in the category of abandoning the association of non-devotees. Then following in the footsteps of previous acharyas, Satovritte, then following in the footsteps of Acharya. These are the 6 principles. Okay. So now let us hear how Srila Prabhupada has explained. I will read from Can you go to page number 32? The paragraph begins with, after 2 lines, endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Can you read, somebody?
Endeavor executed with intelligence and Krishna consciousness is called utsaha or enthusiasm. The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha Krishna sambandha yuktam vairagyam uchyate. The execution of devotional service is not a matter of idle meditation, but practical action in the foreground of spiritual life.
Okay. So in Nectar of Devotion, when we read this, simultaneously Nectar of Devotion goes side by side actually. Nectar of Devotion describing giving the definition of Uttama Bhakti. What is it? Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi pratam anukulyana Krishna anushlanam. What is the meaning of anushlanam? Anushlanam means active service. So now in the first sentence, Prabhupada says, endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called utsaha. What does it mean? Endeavor executed with intelligence. For example, now we are in this body, we are living in this New York City. We need a lot of things for our maintenance, right? So now we are talking about maintaining utsaha, enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is saying intelligence in Krishna consciousness. Yes.
So like use the subway, so we can go out to find go to different spots around the city.
Okay, that's good.
Like for meaningful activities. Like he said, that we are traveling through subway. So they're using this subway for preaching. So that way we can use everything.
Yes. This is very important item to understand. So one may be enthusiastic to do his own chanting, reading, attending temple program. That is one thing of one realm of maintaining utsaha. Then the other thing is, because we are here to execute our duties in Krishna consciousness, therefore we can't stop relating with the outside world. We have to interact with the outside world. So now when you are going to interact with the outside world, you have to use some material objects. This is where intelligence in Krishna consciousness come into existence. That now I need to intelligently think to accept things in relation to Krishna. This is also a sign of utsaha, enthusiasm. If I do not know how to get things that can be used in Krishna service, then I am not enthusiastic. That means whatever we accept as a service to Lord Krishna. That is another explanation here given by Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Then the activities must be executed with patience. Continue, Prabhu.
The
These activities must be executed with patience. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Indeed, this Krishna consciousness movement was started single-handedly. In the beginning, there was no response, but because we continue to execute devotional activities with patience, people gradually begin to understand the importance of this movement. Now they are eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The successful execution of Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she can expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Lakshmi Ve Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence.
Okay. So now regarding patience, when we are engaged in practicing Krishna conscious activities, Prabhupada has given one clue. What is going to help us to remain patient in sadhana practice? When you are engaged in executing your sadhana bhakti, how can you maintain your patience? What is that thought will help you that, yes, I can be patient because this.
I don't know if it's correct, but we have to practice every day. We don't give up like we have to read the Bhagavad Gita.
That means when you are chanting or you are reading, you think your chanting and reading going to give you success?
No, the eating prasad, like practice every day.
No, I'm saying, okay, somebody is chanting his 16 rounds. That is what is going to give him success?
No, it's practice. I have to continue doing it.
That's what I'm asking. What is going to give you success?
Confidence,
Steadiness.
The Prabhupada gives the clue in this analogy, which is that everything comes in due course of time.
That means,
Doing practice.
then what you are thinking at that time, that even if kind of, I'm chanting, not that while chanting, tears is rolling down from my eyes, I'm feeling that my voice is getting choked up, that kind of stress I'm not experiencing.
So it's the same as the girl expecting the baby to be born right away after the marriage.
So in our case, when we are practicing, we should be simultaneously remain dependent on mercy of Guru and Krishna. Otherwise, what happens? Sometimes as a sadhaka, we become very much proud of their own practices, our own endeavors. That, oh, what I am doing is going to give me result. Not necessarily. Ultimately, Krishna is going to give you the result. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Karmanyavadhikarasti mahaphaleshu kadatam. What does it mean? Don't worry. When time comes, I will give you the result. So here, Prabhupada is explaining that one should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So when we are being dependent on mercy of Guru and Krishna, then should we not just say, well, whenever the mercy, Guru's mercy comes, Krishna's mercy comes, it will happen. Otherwise, what can I do? Should we think like that?
Yeah, that's what Mustafa is for.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, what happens? There's no utsaha. He's lazy, man. He's thinking, oh, no, I don't have to do anything. Krishna has to do everything. Anyway, by Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, I will get. How Guru's mercy you will get? This is where, we need to understand. This is how outside people, they kind of try to hide themselves. Well, whenever Krishna wants, I will come to temple. You tell them, No, you are from India, you are living here, we have a temple. No, Prabhu, you don't know. Whenever my God will allow me to come, then only I will come. God has given you 2 legs and you are walking to the park and any other spot. That time you don't say that who is guiding you. Now when you come to the temple, whenever my God will tell, you cannot walk to the temple. Huh? So therefore, in sadhana practice, regularly we have to execute these practices and remain dependent on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. In after devotion, it is something is explained that while executing sadhana bhakti, a sadhaka remains fully confident that one day my Lord will shower his mercy upon me. Being dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. That is actually utsaha and essence. Okay. Tat karma pravartana. Now the next one, Prabhupada is describing tat karma pravartanat. Next paragraph. At age already explained, one should not be idle.
One should be very enthusiastic about executing the karma pravartana. The effect of the regulated principles will destroy devotional service. In the consciousness movement, there are 4 basic regulated principles: forbidding illicit sex, eating, gambling, and intoxication. The devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slack in following any of them, his progress will certainly be checked. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends that karma pravartana. One must strictly follow the regulated principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. In addition to these 4 prohibitions, there are positive regulated principles niyama, such as the daily chanting of 16 rounds on japa mala beads. These regulated activities must be faithfully performed with enthusiasm. This is called tatat karma pravartana, or the right engagement in devotional service.
So tat karma pravartanat means, as Prabhupada said, there are some rules and there are prohibitions. Rules we have to follow. Like as we said that every day a sadhaka has to wake up for Mangalati. He has to chant 16 rounds. Those who are second initiated, they have to chant their Gayatri mantra 3 times daily. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Do some deity service if it is possible on daily basis. So these are some rules given to us by our acharyas. For example, chanting. Chanting means chanting without offense, following, avoiding the 10 offenses while chanting the holy name of the Lord. So these things, when we take it to our practice, that is called tat karma pravartanat. Tat karma, those activities which are favorable to Krishna consciousness. That means bhakti unmukhi karma also sometimes can be accepted here. For example, those who are grahastha devotees. Okay. So grahastha, they have to maintain their family. That means morning time maybe they are engaged in doing their sadhana, diet deity service, mangalarti, they do vigraha archan and all. Then after that they have to go out for work. When they're going out for work, they're mixing with the karmi people. They're working the karmi job, okay? So at that time, their consciousness should be, as Bhagavad Gita in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, so karmana tam abhyarcha siddhim bindanti manava. They can be engaged in their respective duties. But if they constantly think of me, that will bring them success. They will attain perfection in their Krishna conscious practice. That means a devotee, he may be going and working in a karmi establishment, And he knows that this money I am getting is not meant for sense gratification. It is meant for serving Krishna. Serving Krishna means, buying articles which can be offered to the Lord, and then I can accept that as Lord's remnant. Not that I like mango, this is mango season, I go to the market, I purchase mango, and I just eat it for myself. So similarly, I have my children. Grahastha is thinking, I have to spend this money in a way that my child is going to become Krishna conscious. Whereas a Karmi, he is not thinking that what I am purchasing for my child, whether it is spoiling his life or it is benefiting him. He doesn't think like that. He has money, he just goes and buys things. It's, I want to keep my child happy. This is what he's saying, that I can make my child happy by providing these material facilities. Whereas a devotee, of course, they also need some material facilities, but the material facility must be utilized in a way it is not spoiling them, it is helping them to realize the real goal of human life. That is the difference. So that is also, you have to perform this karma. Karma in relation to Krishna Tattat Karma Pravartana. Another explanation. Direct devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam, avoiding Namaparad, Dhamaparad, Tattat Karma Pravartana. Following forever principle, Tattat Karma Pravartana. When a Grihastha devotee is engaged in earning his bread and butter, so what is his intention behind performing these activities? That has to be seen in this lesson also. See, next paragraph continue. Prabhupada continues. Furthermore,
in order to be successful in devotional service, one must give up the association of undesirable people. This includes karmis, jnanis, yogis, and other non-devotees. Once Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by one of his household devotees about the general principles of Vaishnavism, as well as the general routine activities of the Vaishnava, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asat Santya, a Vaishnava Achara. Characteristically, a Vaishnava is one who gives up the association of worldly people who are non-devotees. Narottam Das Thakur has therefore recommended Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas. One has to live in the company of pure devotees and execute the regulative principles laid down by the previous acharyas, the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. If one lives in the association of devotees, there is little chance of associating with non-devotees. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is opening many centers just to invite people to live in the company of devotees and practice the regulative principles of spiritual life.
We have opened these centers. The devotees, here you go outside, there's plenty of wrong association available, right? You go to any place, people are there to kind of, materialize your thinking process into how you can be better enjoyer in this world. But only if you go to ISKCON center, there only you are given good association. You are told that apply your intelligence. This is how you should know. This is good for you. That is not good for you. And in the devotee association, they learn things. Therefore, as Prabhupada says, Karmi, Jnani, and Yogi, these are the kind of undesirable association for devotees. But when we go out, even for book distribution, even in preaching also, sometimes we need to associate with these people. When we associate with these people, one thing you remember, if our Krishna consciousness is not very high, then instead of you giving your association, you start taking their association. It's a very, very, very material infection is very strong. Just like when you go and sit near somebody who has been affected by a contagious disease, Without you knowing, the disease is already transmitted to you. Right? After a few days, you are detected with the same disease which he is carrying. So similarly, when we go to distribute even Krishna consciousness to people, if we are not strong in our execution of devotional service, it will be acting like a contagious disease that you do not know. Slowly, slowly, you are getting contaminated by their association. Therefore, like Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur used to say, he said, morning time you should beat your mind with shoes. Then evening time, again with broom. Why? This is how actually we remind ourselves that I am such a fool. I don't have attachment for Krishna consciousness, for real association of the devotees. Therefore, I should be more cautious about finding the right association, reading the right kind of literature, engaging myself in right type of services. Here, especially one thing I would like to bring to attention, those who are working outside, many times we actually forget that that is just a means we have accepted. That is not our prime activity. That is not actually prime activity. This is the difference between a materialist and a spiritualist. A materialist is thinking that is their prime duty. That is where their life should be evolving. But in Krishna consciousness, devotees, they feel that is just a means I'm accepting those for my survival. Why I'm surviving? I'm surviving to cultivate the higher interest. Therefore, they would give least attention to what goes on around him in the material world. Even though he is the best of best karmi, he is the most successful person in the material world, he is going to him and associating with him or learning something from him just to that extent, what is going to help him to get his sustenance. That's it. After that, he is not going so close to him. So there's a boundary drawn by the devotee's intelligence very clearly in this connection. Otherwise, this Sangatyaga is very difficult. Because we have been in this material world for many lifetimes, and by default, we have developed attachment for such things. It's not a kind of, I would say, okay, somebody may say fault, but whatever that is fault or not fault, whatever you may say, we have found ourselves in such a situation. So when we have found ourselves in such a situation, what I am doing to protect myself, that is Sangatyaga. In our organization, even sometimes we have seen some senior devotees, they fall into this bad association. And then when they realize, they kind of try to restrain themselves. And sometimes if they don't realize, then they also kind of, go along with it. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I was thinking if you could, how we can define association. In the sense, why I'm asking, like now I'm standing here, you've seen, I'm talking with all the people when the restaurant is open. And I'm, hello, hi, 5 minutes everywhere, because these people are coming every day. And we have to speak with them, otherwise they will feel we are rude. So we talk, and sometimes we hear their problems also, but we just say, oh, really? So will this be called as association, or this is just because we want them to come and have prasadam, and this is like, you can say like soft cultivation? What is this like?
You remember the first day we read this statement from Prabhupada's preface, he said, attitude of the person. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So here again it comes to that individual attitude. Okay, person, please don't take it to personal. One who is running the restaurant, he may be thinking that I want to be nice with the people so that they will keep coming and it will help me to multiply my finance. Because if I get good customer, then I can good money, right? So in that way, he's taking a lot of enthusiasm, he's taking a lot of interest to be nice with the guests and, talk to them sweetly so that they will keep coming and you will get good money, good business. That is one angle. Other person is thinking, anyway, I have to survive. Either I work in this restaurant or work outside restaurant or do some other activity. I have to be in some business to earn my money, to fill my belly. By Krishna's mercy, by Guru's mercy, I have been given with this opportunity to serve in a ISKCON restaurant where I am cooking for the Lord. I am not cooking for them. Why I am cooking for the Lord? Because anyone who will come, they will accept this remnant as Krishna Prasad, and that will purify their consciousness. One day they may become devotee of Radha Govinda. Therefore, I should be nice to them so that they can come and they can honor this Mahaprasadam, which will eventually help them to take up the shelter of Radha Govinda. You can see the difference in thinking. This person is totally kind of, absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Okay, he is giving his association. He is not taking their association. Where in the first case, he was actually taking their association. If that person feels, then next day he will come, he will start, talking so many things, and this person will be sitting next to him and listening to him for hours. Maybe he's thinking, maybe he has some other way for me to go and earn more money. He will become greedy. So in that way, he's taking his association. So here we define that somebody who is interested in getting material recognition, profit, and so forth, that time he is taking their association. On the other hand, when somebody is concerned about his duty he has been given with by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and that is helping him to remain Krishna conscious and help others remain Krishna conscious, or foster Krishna consciousness in other people, that time he is giving association to them. Sangatyaga, then Sato Vritti. Sato Vritti, next paragraph discusses about Sato Vritti, right? Yes.
But there are also instances when we actually need legal advice, medical advice. Sometimes there are some emotional issues which a training therapist can help.
Correct.
In such cases, we have to surrender to not like surrender is not.
Yeah. I have no problem, Prabhu. No problem, please. Whatever will help you to remain awake, you are free to do that. This is where you have to help each other. Yes.
So in such cases, like we are seeking guidance and instructions. How do we sort of keep it in balance, saying that okay, I need help either with where do I invest financially, or with like some legal issues or property or medical advice. How do you balance that between like, okay, I'll take advice only for this, but I'll make sure that this doesn't influence my
Very simple. Just one thing you need to understand. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Whatever you are doing as a service to Lord Krishna. For example, you need to take consultancy from a lawyer about your legal issues, maybe properties, for example. Okay. One person, he might be having 10 property in 10 different cities. And every day he has to run here or there, this court or that court, because something is going on. One person requires how many floods? Maximum one flood. Okay, you have to stay, right? So if he is having more than what is his requirement, then he should cut down that. Otherwise, that will be causing him a problem. He should understand this. He should not unnecessarily entertain this lawyer and maintain the lawyer for the rest of his life in the name of, oh, I have got so much property, I need to protect anyway. Even if I have to go to what to do, I have property. Do you want me to just give up? Yeah, you should give up. You don't need that. As long as you know that the principle is this, the first, second day we are discussing. Dharmasya yapavargasya nartharthaya pakalpate narthasya dharmaikantasya kamalabhaya smita. Money should be utilized for cultivating Krishna consciousness. Money should never be utilized in cultivating self-gratification. So here you are going to the doctor, or you are going to, for example, a legal lawyer to secure your property for what? To survive, so that you can cultivate your Krishna consciousness. So anything which is interfering with the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, that extra must be cut off. That decision has to be taken by a devotee. Many times what happens is we become greedy. I have so much today, I want to have that much tomorrow. Then the next day, I will be happily doing my devotional service. Prabhu, I'm talking about brahmacharis. Brahmacharis, they join in the temple. After some time, they think, now I should go to a different place and I should earn, and I will have my own kutir, then I will do my own bhajan. It doesn't happen like that, Prabhu. Because that greed keep multiplying and divert our attention from Krishna conscious practice. It applies to all. Brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi. Because our path is one. That everybody has to chant, everybody has to listen to Bhagavatam, everybody has to do the deity service. These are one path. So if he has understood whatever activity he is doing, it is helping him to remain Krishna conscious, he should spend time for that. If it is extra, he should immediately cut it off. You go to the doctor. Sometimes people go to doctor, you know why? Just to have better health, so that they can enjoy their life. There are people, they go to doctor for that only. And the whole medical field is now advertising this concept of life. You come, we will make you fit for your enjoyment. Whole medical industry is running behind this. Because see, how many people are getting disease? If you go take a survey, number of people who are going to the doctor for curing their diseases are less than the number of people going to the doctor just for physical fitness, for enjoyment. Check. You see the survey, you will see the kind of statistics I'm telling you. And so much of medical industry, inventions are going on just to support this idea that, yeah, we are here to keep you in comfort zone. So we don't need to do that. When I am diseased, I need to treat my body, because if I don't have a good health, Prabhupada says health is first in Krishna consciousness. Then sadhana, service afterwards. So in that way, if you don't have a good health, so why you want to maintain good health? Because I want to practice Krishna consciousness. If this concept is clear, then you are allowed to go and take advice from the doctor, from your legal advisor, and so forth in the material world. Because we are in the material world, you have to survive, but you should know how to take advantage. That's it. Okay. Then the Satobritte, last paragraph, second paragraph, last paragraph, I mean to say in this connection. Devotional service means transcendental activities. Mataji?
Devotional service means transcendental activities on the platform. There is no contamination by the three modes of material matter. This is on a issue the platform of pure goodness or goodness is for contamination by the qualities of action and enjoy. In this introduction, everyone rise early in the morning by 4 o'clock and attend our on morning worship. Then they have Srimad Bhagavatam, Partha Kirtan, and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activities in devotional service 24 hours daily. This is called Chaturvritti, or following in the footsteps of the previous Acharya, who aspire to feel every moment of time in Krishna consciousness.
Sometimes when we read this kind of purpose, we feel like Prabhupada is speaking the same thing everywhere. No, he's not speaking the same thing everywhere. There are different things he's explaining about Krishna conscious principle. For example, here, when he's speaking about Satobritti, he's saying they follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And in this connection, he's speaking about coming to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. You can see this principle is speaking. What is happening in Padma Puran, there is a verse, it explains that Krishna is like sun. From sun rays are constantly being emanated. Similarly, from Krishna, this Ladini Shakti, the pleasure-giving potency, is also emanating. And just like the sun rays are emanating from the sun, then the sun ray falls in different stones. But one of the stone absorbs sunlight and it becomes Suryakantamani. You know, there's a gem called Suryakantamani. It absorbs sunlight and it becomes so precious. Whereas in another ordinary stone upon which sunlight falls, but it has got no value. You haven't heard of this, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Stone absorbs sunlight. Yeah. It is not self-effulgent. It has some kind of astrological value in it, intact. And when one wears that stone, then it can be bereft of the bad elements. The effects of the bad planets can be eradicated by wearing that stone. So that is called Suryakantamani. Okay. If you read Jiva Goswami's commentary to this Brahma Joyesu Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindam Adi Purushottam, that verse, no? There you find this explanation by Srila Jiva Goswami. Anyway, so sunlight is falling on different stones, but only rarest of rare, one stone becomes so valuable because it has that potency to absorb the sunlight and become so valuable. When Prabhupada is saying, like, every sadhaka should wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock. What should he do? He should go to Mangalarti. That means here, the execution of sadhana bhakti in Brahma Muhurta is actually helping you to absorb that Ladini Shakti, and one day that Ladini Shakti which will be absorbed in your heart will transform into Prema Bhakti. That is where the Shuddha Sattva platform you are being attained to. So sometimes what happens, those who are not living in temple, they don't realize the importance of this. See, you are reading this Soto-vritti, also following the footsteps of previous acharyas. Okay, I'm also chanting, I'm also reading. No, there is particular aspect here Prabhupada explaining. Soto-vritti means morning time you should do these activities. This is called Soto-vritti. This means all previous acharya. What is happening in this connection? That means he's saying somebody may be living at home. They are not like, for example, here devotee live in the ashram. Okay, automatically the environment is giving the facility. They have to go to Mangalati at 4:30. Now, somebody who is a grahastha living at home, there's just, maybe husband and wife, or they have some children, maybe some elderly, father and mother, they may be living with them. And their life is totally different. They don't wake up for Mangalati. Or maybe one person in the family, he or she wakes up for early, but he doesn't know what to do. Therefore, we are giving this recommendation. Listen, even if you are grahastha at home, try to ensure that you are up at least 96 minutes before sunrise. Means 96 minutes before sunrise, you should be ready. You have to go to washroom, to clean your body, to do other things. So that thing should be done before 96 minutes. Okay? Then before 96 minutes before sunrise, you should be ready for your sadhana. Then what you do is, if you are in good health, especially Mataji's, you should offer arati. If not, you sit down and chant Sangsara Davana, then Nrsimha prayer, then Tulsi Arti Kirtan. And after that, you start chanting. You should do this. And you will get the same result as a brahmachari who is every day waking up in the temple and going before Radha Govinda and chanting the morning prayers. You will get the same benefit. This is how you gain the potency of I gave the example of the stone. That stone gets the potency to absorb the sunlight and become so valuable. Similarly, when you practice these Sattva-vritta activities, as recommended by Prabhupada, you become the recipient of the Ladini potency of the Lord. That is where you come to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. And that Ladini potency will be transformed into Prema Bhakti. This is the meaning of this following Sattva-vritta.
So not only this, when you wake up very early in the morning, sometimes I open the window, especially summertime, with fresh air, very nice. You cannot feel it the other time of the day. Very nice air from blow. Sometimes you see the bars.
Okay. 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 Yes, Tulsi Prabhu. What happened to her? Okay. Yeah.
So, in regards to Brahma Muhurta, I can say in India more or less the timings of the day during the week of the summer don't change a lot.
Yeah. Correct.
Like, for example, in Europe, in summer, around 5:30, it's already kind of, there's the light outside.
Yeah.
But in the winter, sometimes the light comes at 8.
Yeah.
So, is that means that we get together at 7:30 in the winter, or?
See, here.
We say it's for like 1 hour before.
That is what it is. Kind of Shastra says 96 minutes before sunrise is the kind of time when Brahma Muhurta starts. So we go by sunrise, but the calculation goes by sun and movement of the sun and moon. So that is Brahma Muhurta time. But to do our kind of thing according to different geographical locations, we are in a different place, things are different. I don't know what time devotees wake up there.
They wake up for Mangalati.
What time?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? Really?
4:30. Actually, the sun
Comes
around
8 o'clock. Yeah. If like that is the practice given by our acharyas, then I will not differ that. You see, this is another thing you need to understand. See, we are practicing something which have been given to us by Prabhupada. He the acharya, founder acharya. If Prabhupada recommended that, then we should respect that. We should stick to that. But in general, this is the kind of statement of Shastra, 96 minutes before sunrise is Brahma the time. But anyway, even if you are kind of, Shastra recommends like, Rudra Vela, that is the time of Rudra before that. But whatever it may be, at any time, you can practice Krishna consciousness. There is no rule that Smaranena no Kala, right? There is no rules, hard and fast rule that what time you should serve the Lord, what time you should chant in name. There is no hard and fast rule. When we are talking about Brahma Muhurta, that's a kind of, priority have been given to that part of the day. It doesn't mean that other time you do, it is not accepted auspicious. No, it's not like that. Therefore, the principle what have been given by Prabhupada, we take it as universal and we follow that. Yes.
One more question in this regard. I heard sometimes from the book is that if you get up too early in the morning, you should say 9.
Yeah.
You should not take shower.
Yeah. Varun Dev like arrested Nanda Baba.
So,
So what to do?
yeah,
You are not going to Jamuna.
when we have to take shower,
When you say too early means what time? You think like
this
2
is what I meant.
No, that's what happened. No, Nanda Baba, he went, then Varun Dev arrested. He said, yeah, no, this is not your time. You are entering Jamuna in the wrong time. Yeah, well, that is the point.
They said that 3:30 to 5:30 Brahma Muhurta is true.
Depends on sunrise. Brahma Muhurta is calculated in respect to sunrise time. So I would say in our Krishna consciousness movement, when you wake up, better to take bath. Then you feel fresh, you clean, then you start your chanting and other things. Sometimes it is also recommended that if you just woke up, then just wash yourself, then you can start chanting also. That is also because chanting is one activity which does not have any boundary. There is no limit that whether you are pure, you are impure, you are clean, unclean, whether you can chant or not. No, you can do chanting at any time in any condition of life. That one thing we can. But you cannot say that now I have chanted my rounds without taking bath, I can enter into the deity room. No, you are not allowed to do that. Other aspects of Krishna conscious principles or the activities must be done by properly following the cleanliness standard.
That
Yes.
includes all like visit, not the deity.
Yeah.
I know some devotees, they also just brush their teeth on the cloth and go, and then like due to their bowel movements, like pass through like go to Mount Arati, then Janjaka, and then they go and take proper shower, and then they pass through.
If you ask me, you see, why we do this? First of all, we should understand the kind of the science behind it. When we clean our body, normally what happens, in Shastra it says, you are sleeping at night on the floor. Morning time when you wake up, first thing you do is, you should take the sleeping mat and mattress or whatever, then put in one corner where it's supposed to be. Then for the rest of the day, you are not supposed to touch that bed. And where you are sleeping, you must move that place with water. And it is said that when we are lying, we are sleeping, it's like it becomes like a dead body. When you come back to life, then you must, purify this body. by taking proper shower, chanting mantra, doing achaman, putting tilak. Now, this is kind of, purified. It is ready to go for service under the Lord. So that is the kind of, principle we follow in our Krishna conscious practice. That's why kind of, when the new bhaktas, they come to temple, they should be trained, because this is the practice we follow. It's not that we are just doing something whimsically. Where did she go? We are discussing something very valuable. You ask her what she's doing, because if she's coming to my class, means she should sit here. Where did you go? Okay. No, I'm to say, when I'm discussing something, I don't want anyone to miss. That's why I was kind of thank you. Okay, no problem. So these are kind of, practices to be followed by the sadhakas. What happens when he is cleaned, come to the temple, he will have a better frame of mind, he will have a better consciousness, because it's purification. Body is purified now. If you don't take after sleeping at night, you are still impure. You are not pure yet. This body needs purity, purification. So how is it kind of, it's not pure yet. Therefore, we have got warm water facility here. Even if it's a cold country, since I came, I can see every day, there is warm water any time of the day. So what is the problem? Okay, if you have to take bath twice, take bath twice. What is the problem? No problem. Okay, after 6 o'clock, you need to go to the washroom again. Go up and take bath again. That is how we are trained actually in Mayapur.
Yeah. The chanting, I heard from one of
1 minute. Even in this connection, those who are doing dirty service, for them, the cloth which is already washed for the next morning to wear, after bringing from the drying place, you should not keep it in the same bed where you are sleeping at night. Yeah, sleeping bed. Yeah. Yeah. No, many people don't know this. Many people don't. They feel,
Even like if you're wearing that cloth and stay under your bed,
then you cannot go to the daddy.
Some people take rest.
Anyway, these are all kind of.
I've seen some people, they wash their clothes and then they put it back same in the laundry bag. And that is okay, or that is also not okay?
Better not to keep like that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean to say, see, these are kind of, purity of practices has to be maintained. Otherwise, what is happening? For example, let me tell you, you go to a medical, therapist who are doing operation surgery. Surgeon, if you go to a surgeon, you will see, now before he puts his glove, he will ensure that his hand is cleansed properly. Okay, after that, he will ensure that the glove and the instrument what he is using is sterilized. But you can't see anything there, right? What is the use? Just use it. No, there might be germ, there can be infection. Therefore, these purification process has to be followed by the surgeon. Otherwise, he will not operate on the patient. He will not do it. He will ensure that these are sterilized. Am I correct? If a medical professor, surgeon is so careful about purity, I would say, in their language, to treat a material body which is filled with all dirt, then how can you not maintain purity when you want to approach the supreme pure? So these kind of, many times what happens, sometimes we are not training our devotees properly, or we train with a wrong attitude. that also sometimes fry out people because you have not explained them the concept clearly, and you are just approaching them with a stick, and they don't understand things. How they can adapt to the principles, especially cold country like this. So when you explain them nicely and help them to understand, and then they follow, then you see the result. Very nice result.
I saw that, a lot of devotees, they go to the water park, they don't watch that, they don't even watch their hands.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So many
Yes,
people.
so I heard the chanting, in the morning chanting, day chanting, middle of the night chanting. So some of I can't remember exactly the name which Maharaj or Prabhuji gave the access. So they say morning chanting is more valuable, more concentration, and that's the consistent thing. Every chanting is precious. It's
Correct.
Sonati,
What is your correct?
but it's Shakti.
Yeah.
And then in the daytime, to after it's like Rajashik, and then if you do it like Karmashik, so try to do it in the morning time.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's should follow.
Morning Sattvagun, then as sun.
But as a samsari, sometimes we cannot finish in the morning time.
But we are not saying that you cannot do during other time.
While we go to the train,
You can.
I should speak because I can many finish it. So I try to finish, and then in the evening, if I can do it more, I will do it when I go home. So, so on the way we can do it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Any question or comment? First, this verse is completed now.
How about Prabhuji, like devotees eating in the temple?
Strictly speaking, we should not eat in the temple.
Drinking?
Drinking.
Like with the cup, like you touch your lips and then.
If you ask me, you should not actually. If you take the cup, have you seen proper? Always he'll drink like this. Right? When you touch your lips, it becomes contaminated.
But if they say that curtain is closed, so you can take.
But prasadam.
Prasadam or.
Sometimes in our society they do like that when curtain is closed. Yeah. If you have a separate place to honor prasadam, I would say better go there. If what happens is sometimes in some places circumstance doesn't allow, Here we have a nice prasadam hall. Why you just sit in the in the temple hall and eat there? Again, after eating, you have to clean the whole place nicely. So even if they are using temple hall occasionally, then they should clean nicely. For example, my approach in Govardhan to the puja day, in some festival day, after curtain is closed, then I don't know whether you have seen our temple. Our Radha Madhav and Panchadhatu, they are at the raised platform, altar. Like how many? Maybe 4 feet, not 4 feet, even 8 feet maybe high, where the deity is standing. And no, 1 meter for you in the first platform.
Yes.
Then there's another platform because like maybe around 8-10 feet. No, they are standing very, and then they have curtain. Then they close the curtain. Then we sit in the Nath Mandir, okay, and there we honor prasadam. In Jagannath Puri, they have a different concept. Jagannath Puri, first Srimandir, Jagannath. Then after Jagannath Srimandir, then there is a kind of Natya Mandir, okay, where devotees they sit, they chant, they dance, for the pleasure of the Lord. After that, there is called Bhoga Mandapa, where they kind of offer bhoga to the Lord. That is where anyway, so different places they have got different concept. In our ISKCON temple, some places I have seen they allow when temple curtain is closed, then they can sit there and honor Mahaprasadam because they don't have so much space to feed the guests. Okay, that is kind of we accept, but after that they should clean nicely. In other places, I would say, if there is enough space available, better not to eat there. You go to your kind of kitchen, honor prasadam there. Temple should be there just for deity service. Yes.
Well, I was wondering, is it okay to drink water during japa period? You know, have a water bottle. If I'm thirsty, drink water.
Better to keep your body in a peaceful condition than struggling and not able to focus in chanting. Therefore, if you require sometimes, okay, drink little water, sit properly, peacefully, focus on chanting. Why are you drinking water? That time drinking water is not a mood of enjoyment. That time because you are feeling thirsty or your voice is getting, your throat is getting dried up. Therefore, you need to just, drink little water. Okay, do drink it, then again go back to chanting. No problem. Sarva vidhi nishedasur etur eva kinkara. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu, Vismartabhya najatuchit. Jini, different rules and regulations are given in Shastra to serve only one prime principle. What is that prime principle? Always remember Krishna, never forget him. So if these rules, whatever we are discussing, this is for what? Not for then it will become kind of in the category of niyamagraha, agraha, eagerness to just follow rules. What? Why? Because it is helping me to become Krishna conscious. Tirtha, getting into head? It's getting into your head? Okay. I'm not too much, right? Anyway, you discussed anything, I have to talk. What can I say? Okay, maybe you want to take a little break for a little while. That book instruction is very nice book actually. A lot of practical things. It teaches us a lot of practical aspects of our Krishna consciousness.
It felt yesterday, really. It felt it too much yesterday in the evening.
Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sadharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyam Saranyakaro Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyam Saranyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namattaliko Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Sri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghujugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So now we're going to discuss the fourth verse, which is speaking about 6 kinds of loving exchanges. This is also one of the memorization verses. Dadati pratigrinhati Guiham akhyati picchati Bhungte bhojayate chaiva Sadvidham pritilakshanam Dadati pratigrinhati Guiham akhyati picchati Bhungte bhojayate chaiva Sarvidham pritilakshanam Dadati pratigrinhati Guihamakkhyati picchati Bhungte bhojayate chaiva Sarvidham pritilakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, that is called dadati. Pratigrinhati means accepting charitable gifts. Then guihyamakhyati, revealing one's mind in confidence. Prichati, inquiring confidentially. Then bhungte, accepting prasadam, bhojayate, and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. My dear devotee, have you seen such kind of exchanges in the outside world also?
Not too many, but they are.
Giving gifts, birthday party, marriage party, and what not? I don't know. So many things, right? They're exchanging gifts. Yes, Jimmy has experience. Then accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially.
That was the only therapist.
Yeah, very good. See, the world is so limited. They can reveal their mind in confidence to someone who they do not know. Right? Do they know the therapist? They don't know. Somebody recommended, hey, you are going through this problem. Just go, find one psychiatrist and just reveal your mind in confidence with him. What is the result? Maybe temporarily helping them to get rid of some material problem, but that is not actually giving them ultimate solution. What happened to these 2 devotees? Glaikeri and Damodar? She's here? No, she's in Canada. Yeah. Anyway, so then accepting prasadam and offering prasadam. They don't, in the name of prasadam, but they have the kind of, concept of going and eating in somebody's house, inviting somebody. Some people, they follow this culture, and some people, they totally avoid this culture. They don't like anybody coming to their house for prasad, for eating. Okay, anyway, but in Krishna consciousness, these 6 kind of loving exchanges helps our bondage with devotee and with Krishna. Therefore, this nourishes our bhakti. And if it is done in the proper spirit. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami, he is speaking us to follow these 6 loving exchanges when we are practicing bhakti. So, first paragraph, somebody can read.
In this verse, Sri Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. There are 6 kinds of activities. Number 1, giving charity to the devotees. 2, accepting from devotees whatever they may offer in return. Opening one's mind to the devotees. inquiring from them about confidential service of the Lord, honoring prasadam or spiritual food given by the devotees and speaks feeding the devotees with prasadam. An experienced devotees explains and an inexperienced devotees learns from him. This is Vijayam Akrati Pracheti. When a devotee distributes prasadam, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept prasadam as the Lord's grace is still through the pure devotees. We should also invite pure devotees to our home, offer them prasadam, and be prepared to please them in all respects. This is called Bhunte
Bhojayate Chaiva. So here you have a lot of this program happening. Devotees inviting you to come to their house to honor prasadam. Sometimes happening. Okay, that's good. And when you go, what do you do? You mean? When somebody invites you to their house to honor prasadam, what do you do? Oh, okay, that's a very good thing you can do. Huh? Give them prasad?
Some sweets, sweets.
From here. Every time you take some more sweets from here?
Guruji, they give us, especially as a householder, we get from them nectar of devotion and giving very, very nice lecture. Even the people who don't come in Islam, they start coming in Islam.
So you do that?
Yeah, he is always.
What happened to Mataji?
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So Jimmy, when you go to a Grihastha's house, you should feel obliged to otherwise what happens? You go, you just eat, just fill your belly. You can fill your belly anyway. Temple is providing prasadam every day, right? So when you go to a Grihastha's house, they invite you, without talking about Krishna, don't eat. Make it a point. From henceforth, anyone invites you to their house for prasadam, you tell, look, I'll come under one condition. What is the condition? We'll read at least one verse from Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Even if we don't know much, we'll read Prabhupada's translation and purport, and something according to your realization, you can speak a few words to them. After that, you should honor Mahaprasada.
They usually give very nice kirtan. A lot of temple devotees, when they go to our program, a lot, if there are three members, all three members can have the opportunity to give the lecture, maybe one. And then other two, usually they give very nice kirtan, and everybody enjoy it. That's from that temple.
Good. So this is the principle of Dadati Pratigranati. See, they are giving you something. You are not necessarily, when they're inviting for prasadam, you are not necessarily giving them prasadam, but you can speak about Krishna. That is also kind of giving. Okay? Okay. So here, Prabhupada is saying is this Krishna consciousness movement was established. Anyway, so before we continue, even these kind of loving exchanges is necessary to be practiced by karmis also. If at all a karmi wants to have a very successful life, they should also follow these practices. Then what to speak of devotees? Devotees should always practice. Therefore, Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness movement was established just for this purpose. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, can you read this? Okay, go to 40. No, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established
International Society of
Hey, you know, Prabhu, our Balaji Prabhu. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line, 8 line.
International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between people.
Hey, wait. You read this. You read this. She has been out now.
Page number 40, 7th line.
The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established.
You are becoming restless.
On the left,
8th line.
What does the paragraph start?
Oh, the international, okay.
Wait. We are in text number 4. We are discussing about 6 loving exchanges that we practiced in the community of the devotees. So Prabhupada, he has established this movement to facilitate this. He is speaking something about that. Now start reading. Okay?
The International Society of Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. This society was started single-handedly, but because people are coming forward and experiencing the give and take policy, the society is now expanding all over the world. We are glad that people are donating very liberally to the development of the society's activities, and people are also eagerly accepting whatever humble contributions we are giving them in the shape of books, magazines, dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. We sometimes hold Hare Krishna festivals and invite like members and friends to participate in the feasting by accepting prasadam. Although most of our members come from the high rungs of society, they nonetheless come and take whatever little prasadam we are able to offer them. Sometimes the members or supporters inquire very confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service, and we try to explain them. In this way, our society is successfully spreading all over the world, and the intelligence of our countries is gradually accepting and gradually appreciating our Krishna conscious activities. The life of the Krishna conscious society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating the 6 ways mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness.
Okay. Thank you. See, Prabhupada is saying that this International Society for Krishna Consciousness was single-handedly started just to facilitate this kind of loving exchange. Then he says that the life of the Krishna Conscious Society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges. That means it is not about only nourishing our personal spiritual life. It also nourishes this very movement. What is this movement? Movement is nothing but a group of devotees with some establishment. If we are not able to protect the devotee, then there will be no society. So this is how actually we can take care of our devotees, another way we can say. One thing here, okay, giving gift and accepting charitable gifts. So what kind of gifts? You sometimes being invited to your friend's house to participate in a social function, that may be a marriage anniversary or a child's birthday ceremony or whatever. Sometimes we are invited, right? So what kind of gifts you take them for them, bring for them?
If you have even sometimes Maharaj comes with an Nishina oil or something, something like that.
No, I'm asking about you. What can you bring? Tell me. You are going to somebody's house, invited for a program, yes. Prasadam, okay. One gift.
I kind of like whenever people they come back either with sweets or Simha oil.
Who?
Simha or Abhishek oil.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was thinking folks if they're not father
Very good. When you go, that's the best gift you can ever give. Bring Prabhupada's books. You know? Yeah, you go for a kind of some social function to your friend's house. That time, they cannot say no to you. You know?
Yeah, yesterday we did the card for our Ratha Yatra in calendar, one calendar. So we give devotees the card for the Ratha Yatra, invite them. And then
no, here we are specifically talking about sharing some gift item with the people. Okay. So normally in our society, we have seen you have become devotee. Maybe your friends, they are not devotee yet. Because your friend, your schoolmate, like this time I went to my house, no? I just before I came here, I visited my mother. I had a friend. We are studying the school together. I didn't tell him that I am there. Somehow he found out that I am there. He came to my house and he brought me to his house. Then he said, I know you cannot eat anything, but I need to offer you something. I said, what do you want to offer? Then he got me some fruits. I said, yes, I'll take fruits. And then he purchased a sandal for me. You know? So, yeah. So, I mean, and the clothes also, he gave me clothes. I was really touched by his kind of, reciprocation. For so many years. We didn't meet for maybe how many years? 30 years? More than 30 years. After that I went, but he remembers. So your friend, he likes you. Then you should also give them something, So whether they're devotee or not devotee, he is not actually following Krishna consciousness, my friend. And he told me, he said, my dear friend, he is following some other, culture. He said, I am going to ensure that next time you come, my son takes initiation from you. He told me like that. I said, no, what I'm to say is, see, when you have a relationship with people in the society, it becomes so easy to make them Krishna conscious because they love you, they like you. And when they find that you are a gentleman, you have been practicing nice, Krishna consciousness, then they like to associate with you. So similarly, when they call you for some program, always try to carry Prabhupada's book. I'm telling you, that's the best gift you can give. For the children, you can bring coloring book from Krishna art. So children outside also, they also kind of like to color. And there are some, some captions are there. Okay, Krishna killed Putana. Okay, there is some, picture they can color. Bring this kind of gifts for a birthday party for the child. And you have to purchase something, you have to give them. This is educating them in Krishna consciousness. And because they are friends, they'll like it. They'll not, object. So this is one thing. Then the other thing is Dadade Patikrannati is Guhyam Akhyati Prichati. This thing I wanted to just ask you about. Prabhupada is saying about this Guhyam Akhyati Prichati. He is saying sometimes the members and supporters inquire very confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service. Now, the question is it so that whenever devotees come together, they inquire confidentially about the methods of devotional service? Tell me. Why do they do? All kinds of things they discuss. So how is it pertinent in our Krishna conscious practice? How do you find the value of such kind of discussions when it comes to our Krishna conscious practice?
How do we what say?
How do you find the value in such kind of confidential discussion in the practice of our Krishna
We can't
consciousness?
always reveal those things with everyone, right? Have that relationship with.
Okay.
Um,
So you found a platform to just download whatever is there, right? I mean to say they find somebody to just download whatever is there to kind of on their plate, so they can be relieved of the problems, right? So how do you see this kind of exchanges to be taken? How should we take this kind of behaviors?
It doesn't go into process.
Okay.
we can only do from our side is to initiate those kind of conversations and be this better association possibly, or walk away from talks that are not gonna uplift you necessarily, but it's not always easy.
You want to contribute something in this regard?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking that since I like to sit with the other Prabhus, other brahmacharis who are really fired up, really serious about improving. So if there's anything that I think that I need help with, or there's like something like that I want to improve, usually the conversation always be like, oh, how can we keep it? How can we go to sleep earlier? How can we stop eating hollow at night? How can we, when can we go out for more books? And then we associate like that. When before I go, I choose the right association, the right people to sit next to and give a shot. And then naturally the conversations will start to inquire with each other how we can be better. How we can improve.
That's good.
Yeah.
So here I am asking, like sometimes you have seen another devotee is in problem, and then they come to you, and they are just looking for someone who they can talk to. Many times you have seen they're not actually expecting a solution from you. Sometimes it happens, like something is burning and they just want to just reveal it to you. You just listen. You don't have to act upon it actually. And that gives them relief actually. In this way you can help them. Okay. Other thing. Sometimes you identify so much with their problem, then you get carried away with what they speak. That is an issue here. If you don't have that much capacity to kind of, digest or listen to them, then, divert the discussion towards Krishna consciousness, then better you kind of, try to escape the situation without giving him a bad feeling again. But many times what happens is both the devotees are in a kind of, good status. I mean to say, materially speaking, they're having good health, good family, good everything, house, everything is kind of nice. They come and talk about those kind of life. Not necessarily they're inquiring about how they can become better in Krishna consciousness. Oh, I was doing deity worship. Oh, now, I need to do painting for my Lord. Can you tell me who can do this? Or can you teach me how can I do? Because after every Rath Yatra, I think my Jagannath, they need, Angarag. How can I do that? So they're not discussing this, but discussing something else. Because materially they are very well settled, and that gives them an impetus to talk more about what they are feeling happy about in this material world. So that is not Guhya Markyate Vechyate. We should kind of inquire confidentially what is the meaning of confidentially inquiring. Inquiry involves discussing about how we can become a better devotee, how we can increase our Krishna conscious practices to a better degree. If your discussion is not evolving around that, then you should release yourself from that environment. Or sometimes some devotees come, they may do something, and sometimes they request some kind of, counseling, or you can say coaching from you. They're expecting you to do something for them. At that time, you should involve. You know that your consciousness is higher than that devotee. What is talking? He or she, when they're talking, whatever, if your consciousness is higher than their consciousness, then you try to kind of, speak to them in that way, so that gradually they will take a footing in better footing in Krishna consciousness. That is Guhyam Akhyata Vichati. Otherwise, this Guhyam Akhyata Vichati many times is kind of, destabilizing devotees in their Krishna consciousness. You have to be very careful in choosing the right person to reveal. And another thing also, you think, here is a person who I can reveal my mind in confidence to. Then what happens?
They misuse the information.
you reveal your mind to him, like you're listening. Oh, sorry, you are Joy Radhe now.
I've always been
Okay. Okay. So, when somebody reveals one's mind in confidence to a wrong person, what is the threat? Huh?
If I'm revealing myself to the wrong person, that means I'm linking myself to him. Sometimes it hurt me also. I have to be very careful about who I'm revealing to. And also, it has positive benefit if that person speaks something from me. If I'm good, I'm in Krishna consciousness. That helps him also.
Well,
Good sometimes.
no, mostly they misuse the information. You say something, tomorrow morning, whole New York knows what is all about Bhutaspu. You understand? So you should not go to a person who you feel that he is going to misuse your information.
We lose faith also on everyone. Because one has done like this, we think he's also like this, he's also like this. The whole community is to be.
Yeah, that happens.
Yes.
Really, unfortunately, this is happening. Then how do you?
Therefore, 1 minute. You want to say something? Just hold on.
No, I was just there's meaningless.
Yeah, okay. So yes, whole society unfortunately is going in that direction. So what to do? Therefore, this Shiksha Guru concept is very, very important in this connection. That everybody should have a Shiksha Guru who they can trust. That means he knows that this person, he will never hurt me. Or he will always look into the positive side of my Krishna conscious growth. Then we should only speak to those devotees. In our society, what happens? Sometimes our spiritual masters are very busy. They have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of disciples, they keep on traveling to different places. You don't get guidance on personal basis. Therefore, you should be having somebody who you feel that he is not going to misguide you. Number one, and number two, this person is going to talk something different from what your guru would talk. That's also another thing you need to know. Of course, in our society, everybody speaks the same thing. I mean to say, our philosophy is one. we all accept prasadam, we take tilak. So in that way, generally speaking, our philosophy is one. So in that way, you can trust somebody who you have seen for some time that he is speaking the conclusion of Shastra, and he is a trustworthy person. I can have faith on him, talk to him. On the other hand, in this society also, you find some devotees, looks like they are talking philosophy, but they have twisted the philosophy a bit. You need to have the capacity to understand that they have been misrepresenting our Krishna conscious philosophy. Never ever try to reveal your mind to these people. Never try to become close to these people. What will happen? They will use your confidence. I mean, so you are revealing confidentially, they will take advantage of the situation and they will try to divert your attention. It has happened actually many times. So we have to be very choosy in deciding who we should surrender. This is like, you are surrendering yourself to that person actually. You speaking so many, from the core of your heart means there's nothing you are hiding. So this person can actually harm you or he can actually save you. Now you need to know first of all whether he is my saving grace or he is going to kind of, hurt me. That thing has to be carefully judged upon before you approach.
Something we see, like many devotees don't have someone like that, where they can reveal their mind in confidence.
No, everybody should have. Otherwise, they will run into problem. Like we have seen in our society, many sannyasis, they had some issues also actually. And they couldn't protect themselves. But I mean to say, if they have real good friend who they can talk to, then they may be saved. You understand? So in this is given by Rupa Goswami. Every devotee would have these 6 kind of loving exchanges among the devotees who are kind of trustworthy devotees. They will not hurt them. They will not try to kind of misuse their information. That is very, very essential actually. Otherwise, you cannot see. We are not all coming from Vaikuntha world. Damodar Prabhu, just a second there. We are not coming from the spiritual world. We are not perfect yet. We are learning to become perfect. So in that, it is the duty of every devotee to help each other. And then in that circumstance, we need to identify someone who is very, very trustworthy. I know this person will never harm me. I can put faith on him, I can talk to him, and we can help each other. So in that way, it is very, very essential. Otherwise, what will happen? He will feel lonely. He will also feel lonely. And when time comes, he doesn't have anyone to kind of, talk to, then they may end up leaving the society also. It is a negative side, not having. Therefore, we highly recommend that everybody should have somebody who they can reveal their mind.
I mean, I just feel that, even like this, my Krishna conscious experience, I found that there's like a lot of challenges finding senior women in our movement, even in the places we are, to actually get that guidance. So a lot of things like you have to learn on your own the hard way, but take longer to get there.
Yeah.
Like even ashram, we don't have a senior women in our ashram. We don't have like mentorship programs. We don't have any of these like someone to look up to, not our guru necessarily, like who can facilitate that for us. So we have to have somebody else, but sometimes someone more accessible, not necessarily across the country or something, or maybe understand the circumstance that's here.
then
privacy is a big challenge.
so you have already go beyond that challenge. Now you should make yourself available to the younger generations to help them overcome such kind of challenges. You understand? Yeah. So this is what we need. See, we are a very young organization yet. We are not very old, not even 100 years, not even 70 years. So we are very, still young organization. That means, we want, one day you all going to become guru, you should know this. Because Mahaprabhu says, Amara Jnana Guru Hariya Taroi Des. You say, this New York, what is the population here? 9 million. How many? Yes. How many devotees are there living in this city? 900?
No.
More than that, maybe, because in Rathayatra you can see 10,000 devotees.
No, I'm not talking about them. They are well-wishers, they're just coming. But real kind of following our devotee, ISKCON devotee. Maybe 1,000. Okay. Maybe 1,000. Just can you imagine a city which has got 9 million population, only 1,000 members out of 9 million are following Krishna consciousness? That means you can see what is a big demand. Yeah. That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying, that you all need to take up this responsibility. You wanted to make whole world Krishna conscious. So thank you for sharing this kind of wonderful realization that we had to go through this kind of challenges. We were expecting that somebody senior would guide us, some facilities would be given to us, and it was not available. But somehow or other, by Krishna's mercy, you have gone through that kind of challenge and you have learned something in a hard way. So now share your experiences and give protection to others. That is very, very essential. And that is what we need in our movement.
So other thing in our hospital, now Monday, they don't give any patient. They say media. The whole, almost 2,000 patients. They know every Monday, no papers, they no week notice.
Okay, good. That's nice.
Yes.
Okay. So next, also continue reading. Who was reading? You are reading? Can you continue from, or Balkrishna Prabhu, can you continue from there in the Bhagavad Gita? Uh, 41.
41.
First.
Fourth line. In Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita 262, it stated, Kama. One's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. It is often said that a man is known by his company. And if an ordinary man associates with devotee, he will certainly develop his dormant Krishna consciousness. The understanding of Krishna consciousness is innate in every living entity, and it is already developed to some extent with the living entity. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita 22:107. Nityasiddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Uday. Your love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It's not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing and chanting, Shravan, Kirtanam, one's heart is directly purified, and one's original Krishna consciousness is immediately awakened. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart. It is already done. When one chants the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the heart is cleansed of all mundane contamination. The first stanza of this is Shri Shikshastra Prabhu. Chetudarthanam, Avmahatava, Nivasanam, Shri Kairava Chandrika, Vitanam, Vidyavatu Chetanam, Anandam, Bhutivartanam, Prati Padam, Purnam, Purnam, Sarvatmam, Snapnam, Aram, Shri Krishna. All glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses heart of all the secondary and extinguishes the fire of the ocean. Extinguishes the fire of conditional itself, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the wings of the benediction. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the devotion of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to connect with all the functions.
Okay. So here, that this is where you can understand the need of giving Krishna consciousness to everyone, because this was Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kubunaya Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Uday. So Krishna consciousness is there in the heart of every living entity, but it is in inert condition. That means you have to help to awaken that consciousness in them. It's in the sleeping condition now. It's in the heart of every living entity. When you give them this opportunity of hearing about Krishna, then it's like magnet is coming in contact with a piece of iron. Provided iron maintains its property. But by default, all living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. So in that way, in pure identity, they are spiritual. When you give pure spiritual consciousness to them, they will automatically become attracted to it. So that is what our society is meant for, giving to the whole world.
There is one lecture I heard from Untitled Prabhu. He was saying, ISKCON means is connection, like consciousness on. So that means ISKCON. So is our consciousness, Krishna consciousness on a very good platform to make our switch on.
Okay. All the best.
Yeah, I heard lecture like 2 days before and they were telling
Kirtan Mataji, can you read the conclusion, last paragraph? The conclusion is that 46.
The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulated devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of their acharyas, and full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual master. In this way we shall be able to develop our devotional service and learn Krishna. The devotee who is neither a neophyte nor Mahabhagavata, a greatly advanced devotee, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friends with the devotee, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and mind. In this verse, there is a brief mention of the process of making public transactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and making friends with the devotees. According to that principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income on the service of the Lord and his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has set such an example in his life. When he decided to retire, he distributed 50% of his life earnings to Krishna service and 25% to his relatives and kept 25% for personal use. This example should be followed by all devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotees, and this will fulfill the demands of them. In the next verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us that the heights of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnava should be served.
Any question or comment?
We write everything down and go to the temple, become a sannyasi. We give it to children.
Yes. And this verse, Patati Pratigarnati Goyam Akhyati Krichati Bhumte Bhojayate Chaiva Sarvidam Pritilakshanam. Nothing.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not seeing people doing that, otherwise society would be flourishing so much more. But 50% of their salary towards,
Wow.
I mean, who's doing that?
35 to 40% goes taxes. And after that, whatever comes, donation and children, like rent and everything, looks like I don't have nothing. I give everything, not even 50%.
But if you could write the taxes off. They can.
This is a true point, actually.
It's
When
true.
government takes so much tax, and then
35%.
we have only this much remaining, then how should we?
And then deductible. then
I can
this,
give you one example. There is one devotee who is serving with me currently. He's a grahastha. He is from Bombay. He was working in L&T, engineer. Yeah. And then he went to Doha, Middle East. He was there for a few years, and kind of a good amount of money. And he took voluntary retirement to come and serve in Mayapur Institute. And then when he came, by that time, two of his sons were already kind of settled. They are staying in US now, two sons. And he doesn't have any daughter. So whatever money he had, he did this way, 50% means when he retired, now his children are settled. He has a house in Pune. And so that means he doesn't need anything. So what he did is 50%, he kept it for temple service. 25%, he has two sons, distributed between them. And he has kept some for his emergency expenditure. And he is living with me in the Mayapur Institute. Okay. He has given me money for Mayapur Institute service. Whatever his kind of income was from there.
He's retired, he said.
Oh, yeah, he's retired now. And
The
the,
one who's earning them. He's retired.
That's a retirement.
so what he did is, he's staying with us. So what I do is, I don't give him any salary, but I maintain him. I have given him accommodation. I'm giving him prasadam, and little bit if here and there if needs, I also am kind of ready to spend. But he has his medical insurance on, and for emergency expenditure also he has some money by his side. One time he was asking me, Prabhu, what should I do? Should I give this money? I said, no, you don't give me. Don't give this money. You keep this money with you. And children, I said, no, children already you have given them. They are also earning now. They are well settled. You don't worry about them. And he is very, well settled. I can tell you, he is such a elevated devotee. He is not attached to anything, and he is doing very nice. He's having a very good health, and his sadhana is very nice. He's like a sannyasi living with us in the ashram. I've given him one room. I have given him actually one apartment in housing. Mayapur, we have a housing complex. We have given him one apartment there. Whenever his son, they come, he lives with them there. And now since pandemic started, he is living with us. I mean to say, there are some devotees who are following. But as you said, you ask this question, well, in this country, after the tax and all, how is it practical? I would say, you see, of course, Prabhupada is speaking here. Prabhupada is quoting this example. In Necro Devotion, is quoting this example. He is quoting this example in Bhagavatam also. This is an example Prabhupada is quoting. This is a principle. Principle means every grahastha should learn that certain percentage of his income should be spent for Krishna consciousness. According to our situation, because if you have not learned to give it to Krishna, you'll always find some excuse saying, no, I don't have, I cannot give, I don't want, my situation doesn't allow me. But try to understand, this Bhagavad Gita says, no, 16th chapter, Danam, Damastu Jagnastu, Svadhyaya Taparjavam. Danam, Dama, Jagya. These are the activities must be executed by grahasthas. You cannot say that I am grahastha, I have my children, I have my so many things to take care and I cannot give. No, that is not supposed to be. You should be giving. Okay, now it comes to 50%. No, you don't have to give 50%. If you give 50%, for example, a rickshaw, let me give you an example about a rickshaw. Maybe he's earning, 200 rupees a day. He has got 2 children. He has got old parents, husband and wife. He has to fill 6 belly. He has to support his children's education. He has to take care of the medical need of the old parents. How he is going to maintain with 200 rupees? And then you want him to give 50%? It is not practical. What he can do? He can, every Sunday temple buy provision. Prabhu, I will bring my rickshaw. You go to the shop, you purchase and leave it. Then give me a ring. I'll ensure that the bhoga reaches the temple. See, he is not spending money, but actually he is helping temple by saving temple transport. That's a contribution he's giving. Okay, I can come to temple, I can do some physical service. I don't have any temple to give a transport or any ride to the devotee, some service, but I can come do some physical service. That also accepted as contribution. Those who are capable, they should give their contribution in such a way that it should have a pinch in them. Then you are really kind of giving something in Krishna's cause. This was shared by one senior Grahastha actually. This is not coming from me. He said, yeah, he said, no, Grahastha means we should do like that. Then actually, you think that there's something. I mean to say, even though Rupa Goswami has set a standard and Prabhupada also gave him, even though in our Krishna consciousness we don't follow, maybe you are very well aware of the situation. Christian community, they have this concept of giving 10 or 15%, something like that. 10%, right? Yes, they give. We have not successfully implemented this. This philosophy is there, but they are following our philosophy. Here, what I would suggest is, you don't have to follow Christian. You don't have to take directly, the footsteps, or you don't have to directly to follow the footsteps of Goswami. But I would say, if you are a grahastha and whatever your income may be, you try to give some support for Krishna consciousness. That is ultimately helpful for you.
What we do as my example, whatever I am, 10%, I give 10%. And I think this year, this 10% money is going to go to different temples. Definitely, mostly ISKCON temple or some devotees donation or something is some devotee. So this is the way. If I think this, if I make $30,000, then this $3,000 I have to put it aside.
Yeah.
Because if I worship Krishna in my home and I have 4 members, so each now I have 4 members, there are 5 members. So money should be split in 5. Whereas if I tell I don't have nothing in connection, I have money for my children, for my wife, but not for my children. So then I want to
No, actually what happens is this, this is a culture need to be imbibed by the devotee on his own sweet will. If I am not agreeing that, as a brahmachari, I need to follow these rules, then I will, sometimes I may, be debated, then, but still I need to be reminded that, no, I need to follow these principles. You understand? Same thing, grahastha, these are the principles I need to follow. Okay, sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not able to. Then what I have to do? I should always be striving to practice that, follow that, because my ashram demands this.
In the temple in here is our family. So whoever we are surroundings here living, we always keep concentration. Okay,
Yes.
people don't have money.
Yeah.
Means let's go all the all the community, make sure
Yeah.
temple running.
Yeah, we should support.
So that's we plan this way. Some people may be little bit.
Anyway.
One question to it.
Uh,
So say in here, mostly a lot of people buy the house. The grihastha, I'm now 50. So if I buy a house for $1 million and I take $800,000 loan, I'm 50. And after 10 years, I'll be retired. I'm not going to be able to put this money. My children is there, but I don't know if they will pay it or not. So in that type of case, like going as a devotee, putting big burden on hand. Is it a good idea? I know there is like 10 years later, if I'm not able, I might get sold it and then I finish. Children will take care of whatever, or if they think they will take care. So in this type of idea, is it like kind of bindings, like we are getting in another bondings to even when I'm 60, I'm retired, but still I don't have time to go to the temple because I have to go to make some of the money to put my mortgage in. I in my life, I might not be able to finish this later.
I am not going to respond to what you are expecting me, but I will say something. Listen, this is what is lacking in our organization that we need to work on. Life in Krishna consciousness is nothing but a preparation to ultimately find shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. This is a process, part of our journey, to be adapted by every single member of this institution. Then, one child is born today. The child has a lifespan of 70, 80 years, for example, we can say. You can estimate, take a kind of an estimate that, okay, this child is going to remain in this body for 80 years. This 80 years should be divided. When, if he's a boy, by the age his time he reaches 25, he should be qualified to enter into his grihastha ashram. And when he enters into grihastha ashram, he should also have an exit plan. That when he reaches 50, he should exit from the grihastha plan, grihastha life. By then, he should have children. He should have taken care of the children's need, and the children are qualified to take care of his wife. He is not more any, he is not into any burden by the 50 or 55 maximum, I would say. Okay, then he is there only to execute his consciousness. No, so this is what is essential to establish in an organization like ISKCON. What has happened? We just started our Krishna consciousness late, and we were not given that kind of structured approach. For example, let me tell you, I don't know if I ask this question, how many devotees living in this community are aware that they need to go through the samskaras even before conceiving a baby? Many may not be knowing it also. right? So these things need to be established. There's a lot of things to be done in this organization actually. Through we are doing this Bhakti Shastri course. So this actually our plan is to kind of find some devotee in different parts of the world who are ready to lead in these areas to further guide the devotees in future generations. Okay, now next generation. What if you have a son? You need to train him. How you do train him? You as a father, you take responsibility. By the time he reaches 25, means he is actually a grown-up man, and he should be able to take the lead, not only his family burden, but his mother's responsibility as well.
If 5 people's responsibility, then you can get married a son.
So you kind of know that is your duty now. So if you are always thinking in that work footing basis, then you are struggling, then your son also will follow your footsteps. He will be struggling until 60. His son will be struggling up to 70.
Okay.
It will get extended.
That's a good solution. I understand that. Thank you.
We need to have this training program established in a practical way. And this generation, I would say our second generation, we are second generation devotee, we have to take the pen. Somebody has to take the pen. Like Prabhupada, he had to take the pen to establish this organization. If you read Prabhupada's Lamrita, oh, how painful it was for Prabhupada at the age of 70 to start this organization in a place where nobody knows him, foreign land, everything is foreign for him, for his body. How he tolerated and how he established, how much pain he had to take. Now we have got something very good thing in our hand. And still it is kind of a lot to do to secure the life of devotee who have already come in. So where somebody has to take the responsibility to, and some other people also support him. Let us come on board. Let us say, okay, anyone who wants to take the responsibility, let us, form our team and do something. For example, with my approach, we have started a new initiative. What we are doing, we are teaching Bhagavad to the small children. Why we are doing this? And for this service, we are not charging any money from anyone. We are following the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he wanted to distribute this love of Godhead for free, right? He didn't want anything in return. So our mood is, when these children from the age of 10, they start reading Bhagavatam, pure Bhagavatam. We are not teaching something adulterated one. 100% pure, as given by our Acharya Prabhupada. Confident, these children, they learn how to embrace Krishna at the age of 10, and it continue up till 2025. I can assure you, they will be Pakka Vaishnavis. So now we want people to join. Okay, help us to drive this forward. At least you did not, but your child, his child. Let us create this, pathway for them. So the point is, you can also start something. You can also start something. What do you feel? Society needs some support. Our society is very flexible, not binding too much. Then you take responsibility. This is a good thing we need to do for the organization. You find your way, start doing something. Like in our capacity, we have something, we are trying to do something. I mean to say, we identified that there is a need. So who is going to fulfill that need? You take the responsibility. You take the responsibility. You take the responsibility. And if you need some support, tell us or connect with somebody who you feel can support you. Everybody has to take this responsibility to do something for Prabhupada. Then your indebtedness will be.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years before in Nagamato, we are criticizing ourselves. We just go do some kirtan and prasadam and go. We don't have no progress anything. But 5 years later, when we see like 10 devotees to the initiation, we became first division and few devotees to the Brahman initiation. So then we can see the progress is going on. But if we just stay in some point, we have to criticise ourselves what is lacking and how we can improve. So that helps really bit.
Okay, so we will not tell you whether you should keep 10%, 20%, whatever. You decide. Okay, so we can